From the second Paladin Xander Harkness steps onto the screen in the Fallout TV series, the show quietly dares longtime fans to look closer. Not because he's flashy, not because he delivers dramatic monologues, but because something about him feels too precise, too controlled, too clean. Fallout has trained its audience over decades to distrust that feeling. In this universe, when a character feels slightly off, it's rarely an accident. It's a warning. And that warning has led to one of the most compelling theories surrounding the show so far.
Unless your guy Quintus gives me that relic, you and me are going to be in the front lines shooting at each other soon.
That Paladin Harkness may not be human at all, but a synth hiding in plain sight. Before getting into this theory, let's briefly recap what this discussion is really about. This video examines why the idea of Harkness being a synth isn't just random fan paranoia, but a theory built on Fallout's long-standing storytelling habits, its obsession with identity, and its love of cruel irony. We'll look at the significance of his name, his behavior, his rank within the Brotherhood, the post-Fallout 4 world he exists in, and most importantly, why this theory feels right even without a confirmed reveal. This isn't about proving the twist exists. It's about understanding why Fallout would absolutely do something like this. Now, let's get into it. Fallout has never been a franchise that wastes names. Names are history. Names are loaded with baggage, and when the writers reuse one, especially one as specific as Harkness, it's never accidental. In Fallout 3, Harkness wasn't just another NPC. He was a core philosophical device, a synth who believed he was human, had his memories altered, and lived a life enforcing rules for an organization that would have destroyed him if they knew the truth. That storyline wasn't subtle. It asked players a brutal question. If a being thinks, feels, and chooses like a human, does its origin even matter? So when the Fallout TV series introduces a character named Paladin Xander Harkness, it immediately sets off alarm bells for anyone familiar with the lore. This isn't a common wasteland name. It's not John or Marcus, it's Harkness, a name forever tied to the synth debate. Reintroducing it in a post-Fallout 4 world where synth paranoia nearly tore the Commonwealth apart feels deliberate. It's not fan service, it's thematic signaling. And Fallout loves thematic signaling. But a name alone isn't enough. Fallout never relies on a single clue. It layers suspicion slowly, letting discomfort build rather than announcing a twist outright. That's where Harkness's behavior comes in, and this is where the theory really starts to gain weight. Paladin Harkness is calm in a way that goes beyond military discipline. Yes, the Brotherhood of Steel values order, restraint, and obedience, but even Brotherhood characters historically crack under pressure. They show frustration, fear, arrogance, or zealotry. Harkness, on the other hand, rarely deviates. His speech is measured, his reactions are minimal. Chaos doesn't rattle him, violence doesn't excite him, moral tension doesn't visibly affect him. This doesn't make him robotic in an obvious way, but it makes him curated. In Fallout lore, Gen-3 Synths were designed specifically to pass as human while suppressing emotional volatility. They don't lack emotions, they regulate them. And many synths we encounter in Fallout 4 behave exactly like this, hyper-focused on their assigned role, overly loyal, sometimes rigid to the point of seeming unnatural. They don't improvise emotionally, they perform consistency. Harkness feels like that. His loyalty to the Brotherhood is almost too perfect. He doesn't question doctrine in public. He doesn't express ideological doubt. He embodies the Brotherhood ideal so cleanly that it raises a disturbing question. Is he loyal because he believes, or because he was built to? This is where Fallout's favorite trick comes into play: overcompensation. Synths who don't know their synths often cling aggressively to identity markers. A synth assigned as a soldier becomes the best soldier. A synth assigned as a worker becomes obsessively efficient. Harkness doesn't just serve the Brotherhood, he represents it, as if deviation isn't an option. And then there's the issue of autonomy. Paladin Harkness operates with a level of independence that's unusual even for his rank. He arrives alone. He pilots his own vertibird.
We need a pilot. And let someone else have all the fun? Let's go!
He executes missions without visible squad support or oversight. From a production standpoint, this can be explained away as narrative efficiency, but Fallout rarely lets efficiency undermine lore without purpose. In-universe, Paladins are rarely isolated operators. The Brotherhood thrives on hierarchy, surveillance, and internal accountability. So why is Harkness so alone? If you were a synth, isolation would make perfect sense. Fewer eyes, fewer biometric comparisons, fewer moments where another soldier notices something inconsistent. Fallout has used isolation as a storytelling shield before, keeping suspicious characters operationally separate so their secret doesn't unravel too early. And this brings us to the most deliciously cruel part of the theory, the Commonwealth context. The Fallout TV series exists in a world shaped by Fallout 4, whether the show confirms a specific ending or not. And one thing is universally true across all endings. Synths didn't disappear. The Institute may have fallen, but its creations scattered. Some escaped, some integrated, some were reassigned, some went dormant, some never even knew what they were. The Brotherhood, meanwhile, doubled down on their hatred of synths. To them, synths aren't people, they're abominations, tools pretending to be human, threats that must be eradicated. So imagine the irony. A synth unknowingly embedded within the Brotherhood, rising through the ranks, being promoted for discipline, loyalty, and effectiveness, eventually becoming a paladin, an enforcer of anti-synth ideology. Fallout doesn't just enjoy irony like this, it thrives on it. This wouldn't be a random twist, it would be Fallout at its most philosophically ruthless, a living contradiction, a mirror held up to the Brotherhood's hypocrisy, the faction most obsessed with purity unknowingly elevating the very thing it wants destroyed. And the show doesn't need to confirm this outright for it to matter. Fallout has always understood the power of implication. The discomfort is the point. The uncertainty forces the audience to confront their own assumptions, just like the games did. If Harkness is human, then the theory still works because it reveals how deeply Fallout has trained its audience to distrust systems, institutions, and certainty. If he's a synth, the reveal detonates years of ideological buildup in a single moment. And that's why this theory refuses to die, because it doesn't rely on a single scene or line of dialogue. It relies on Fallout's DNA, on its history of asking whether identity is defined by origin or action, on its obsession with moral contradiction, on its willingness to let monsters enforce morality and heroes commit atrocities. Paladin Harkness doesn't feel off because he's badly written. He feels off because he's too well aligned with what the Brotherhood claims to be. And then Fallout, that's often the biggest red flag of all. Whether the show ever pulls the trigger on this reveal or not, the groundwork is unmistakably there. And in a franchise where nothing is accidental and irony is king, that alone makes the question impossible to ignore. Because in the Fallout universe, the most dangerous secrets aren't buried underground. They're promoted, armored, and flying a Brotherhood vertibird, convinced they're exactly what they were programmed to be. What are your thoughts about this? Let me know what you really think in the comment.